Another question I get now and again has to do with how we think about other faith traditions. We're a big world. We have a whole lot of different religious experiences. A lot of people would even say that they're spiritual but not religious. And part of their reason for thinking that or having that perspective is because they're sick of religion. And they see a lot of the damage that religion has done. And that is absolutely true. Religion has done a lot of damage throughout world history. You don't have to even know that much to see it. You can see it today. It's crystal clear. That's because in our human history, we have a tendency, there's at least one reason anyway, in my opinion, we have a tendency to forget that religion was meant to be a means, not an end. And as soon as we get to a place where we think religion itself and our particular religion is the point of it all, we're already screwed. Religion was meant to help give us a tool to help us understand the divine, this greater other, this ground of being, this thing is bigger than us that we can kind of sense is there. We wonder about it. Religion was supposed to help us bring that all together, to religament, is where the root comes from on that. So that's part of the problem. In terms of our relationship with other faiths, this won't be a real surprise if you've been hanging around CrossWalk a lot or been watching any of these videos, but I think we must have very deep respect for other religious traditions. Personally, I follow in the footsteps of Jesus as much as I can, so he's my primary voice that I'm going to listen to. He's the lens that I'm going to try to understand Scripture through. I'm going to try to understand the character and nature of God through what I see exemplified in Jesus' life, ministry, teaching, healings, all that stuff. That's how I'm informed. But my choice to be exclusively a Jesus follower does not mean that I cannot be inclusive of other faith traditions and respect them fully for where they are. It's also not about one-upmanship. It's not about some kind of an elitism like I've got it and you don't. That's off point. And so, there are deep trends. In fact, this is sort of where I get some of this from. There's some great books. You need to read Karen Armstrong's The History of God. It's unbelievable. It's fantastic and will open your eyes about what's really going on. The mystics of every religious tradition, of the enduring religions, the Whoppers, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, etc. The mystics from all those traditions, when they go to the greatest depths of their spiritual traditions, do you know what they find? They find the same thing. They find that this greater other, this thing, person, being we call God, is love, is peace, is unity, is harmony, is power, is strength. All these beautiful things that we hope God is, all of the deepest mystics are finding that God really is as graceful and wonderful as we had hoped. Does that mean that all religions are the same? No, of course not. Every religion was born in a particular time in a particular context, and that needs to be appreciated for every religion in order to understand and really take advantage of everything those religions have to offer. Some people might say, well, Pete, we know you're a heretic, but this sounds really crazy because Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. How dare you say that it's possible to embrace other religions and fully respect them when Jesus was so clear on that? Well, one way of thinking about I am the way, the truth, and the life is that Jesus was saying to his disciples, okay, new religion, we're going to call it Christianity, and I want everybody to follow me, and so I'm going to give you this verse so that you know how serious this is. And that's one way of thinking about it, and that leads to an exclusivity kind of an approach to all things regarding the faith. But there's another way to think about what Jesus was saying. This is toward the end of his life. He's about to be arrested and eventually killed. And he's been hanging out with his disciples for, 1 to 3 years, somewhere in that neck of the woods. And maybe a different tone of what he's trying to say is this. What you have seen in me, I am God, is the way, the truth, and the life. That it's about the way that I'm living and interacting with the world. That there is a truth that is greater, that transcends what the culture around us is. And there is a life which is tapped into life itself, the very source of life. And that when we combine these things, this way, this truth, tying into this life, we find ourselves walking in lockstep with the Father, an image of God. That's a beautiful thing. And there's room in that for other traditions to find that same truth, which I think is there. So that's where I'm at. I teach almost exclusively from the Christian tradition. I'll give a nod to some other practices and some great insight from some religious leaders from other tribes. But what I know, my wheelhouse is Jesus and the Scriptures. So that's where I stick. Doesn't mean I'm against the others, just means I'm going to go with what I know and go as deep as I can with that. And if you're into that and want to find out what's there, then you're welcome to join us. You're probably going to hear some things different than you've heard from other places. And I think that's a good thing. Okay, hope that helps.